I saw a survey that the NACD did of directors. They surveyed about 800 directors, and about half of the directors said of the top three concerns they had during COVID, 50% of them said having effective board meetings was among the top three concerns. That's interesting if you think about it, because the number one was like operating the business and maintain and dealing with the risk of the COVID, which of course you'd think would be at the very height of it. And then at the end, they surveyed them and said, well, and how'd the company do? And like 94% of the directors responded said, we did really well in technology.
When we're talking about AGMs, what we could be getting towards is a hybrid board format, right? Board and committee meetings are now in a hybrid format. Some committees, it's all virtual, but even the board, it's like the board could be a mix of in-person and virtual. And if your technology is set up correctly, it should be somewhat seamless.
I know we use Diligent and the board books, the voting function for minutes and resolutions and things like that. Is that something that your organizations have adopted as well? How do you deal with signing or a distribution of materials or things like that?
We use it as well. We use it for our DNO questionnaires. We use it for written consents when those come up. A new feature we're hoping to use. Again, I've got to run it through all my policy, internal policy things. Is a messenger feature. We're looking at all these things as ways of enhancing communications with the directors, but also ways to take things out of what I would say is traditional email or conversations. God forbid people are using their cell phones to text each other during meetings. We want it to be a little bit more systematic, and I think some of the features that we've seen on Diligent are really helpful for that.
We were in the world of Excel spreadsheets. We ultimately moved all of our governance documents to a number of centralized Diligent tools, which has been a true game changer for us, particularly as what I would consider a medium-sized law department that runs pretty lean. It makes it much easier for those cross-functional teams as we do that work, whether it be on entity rationalization or on M&A and transactions, to access and quickly understand where we are.
It's a huge subject, and obviously it depends on the industry, but for me, it's about the communication. And if your business is all about the people, like mine is, then it's how do we keep people in touch when you're going to have this two-track. Keeping people in touch with each other, able to collaborate in the right way. It's not just about, can they use Slack or Teams or Messenger or whatever. From a people perspective, for me, it's about giving coherent messaging around how comms works. But I think from the board's perspective, it's about future-proofing. There isn't necessarily all the solutions, but having integrated processes is definitely going to help us move forwards. And I think the more that you can do in, making sure that your technology is talking to each other as well, these are the things that will help us feel more integrated and more engaged too.
For me, digital transformation isn't like taking a full-scale front to finish process and saying, we're going to automate this and we're going to get all the human touch out of it. To me, it's taking all the small little parts and pieces and slowly taking some of that away and finding ways to evolve it, enhance it, automate it, and put that into a system. And the learning curve is a big one. That learning curve is going to always be there. Like I mentioned, today we may feel that we've mastered what we're working on, but tomorrow is going to be AI. It's going to be predictive analytics and machine learning. So you have to continually evolve and continue to learn. Leveraging your community is a huge one. Whether it's your tools, operators, the networking with peers, always be open, always having those conversations. To me, that is absolutely critical to continue to knowledge share and grow.